Hey everybody, it's Bree here to do BJD Addicts prompt numbers 39 and 40. The reason I've decided to do 2 prompts this time instead of 1 is because prompt 39 is about face-up tips, and I don't really have any of those because I've only done 2 face-ups in my life. I'm proud of them, they're not very good, but I'm proud of them and I think they look fine for what they are. I'd like to get better at doing face-ups. It'd be great if I could, which means I'd need probably another practice head, because the practice head we've got I'll bring out in a minute and explain why I can't really reuse that again, or that I don't really want to. But my first face-up was actually on Andy here, my very first one. You can see her. It's not a stellar face-up, but I like it and I'm proud of it, and it was kind of a hurdle for me in the hobby because I mean the face-ups I see from the companies and the face-ups I see from people you can commission for face-ups are always so amazing and beautiful, and it's just like, I can't do that off the bat, but I can do little things and maybe someday I can learn to do better, and while maybe I won't be as good as them, maybe I could be good enough that I'm satisfied with my work and that I can continue to improve. But the other face-up I did is actually on a practice head I got a few months ago, and let me get that right now. Okay, for anyone who doesn't know, this is Ruvik. He is not done, he's not close to being done, but he's a project that me and my friend have been working on for a while. We're going to make a doll of a video game character we like. He's the main antagonist for The Evil Within, Ruvik, and so we've been working on this. We're actually pretty proud of the burn scars we've been doing. It's a lot of Elmer's glue and pastels in various layers of stuff. I know I have to fix his eyes a little bit, but we're really happy with how this is going, how it's turning out, and next we need to obviously finish the head and get the body done, which will be more burn scars, but this would be the second face-up I've done, and yeah, I don't really want to take it off the nice practice head because this has been a lot of work, and the facial structure isn't quite, like, it's not quite as European, I guess, or like, you know, stereotypically European as Ruvik, the character, would be. The eyebrow ridge isn't quite as pronounced as his is, other things, but I think it is going pretty well. The other prompt was prompt 40, which is about roommates, and this was interesting for me because I actually got my first doll, Raleigh, while I was in college. It was my sophomore year of college, and so I had a roommate, and I also had suitemates who lived kind of across the hall-ish. We had a suite, or room, bathroom, other room, whole unit's called suite. But my roommate did know that he was coming. She knew I was looking at dolls, and when he arrived, most of my friends, including her, were kind of like, what is this thing that you have now? It sits on your desk and doesn't speak. And she was a little freaked out by it to begin with, but she kind of warmed up to it. When I got the second doll, then she started to kind of yell at me, where, because we already had one weird occurrence, I guess, where we thought Raleigh moved the TV remote, and that freaked her out a little bit, and then Aldrich came to live in the room, and then Ryko came, and then Andy came, and I think at that point my roommate was just like, these are things that live in our room, and they're here. My suitemates didn't interact with them as much, just because they came into the room because we had the nice TV, so they'd be in for that, but they didn't really interact with the dolls all that much. One of my other friends who came over a lot and who I dragged into this hobby, she interacted the most with the dolls, and especially once she had hers, but my roommate almost got one. She was looking at the Doll Zone Annie, I think it was. She never ended up doing it. Darn, missed. Oh well. Yeah, it was really just kind of like, we kind of set some rules, at least I did, because I was paranoid about them, and they're nice, and it was like, everybody in the suite was really, they were cool about it. They didn't touch my dolls unless I said they could, or like, I think there's one instance where one of them had fallen, and my roommate texted me like, Aldrich fell over! What now? I put him on your bed! He's there! He looks fine, but this is the thing you should know. And so that was really like the only time she ever touched any of the dolls without my permission, just because she couldn't figure out how to stand him up again. He was wobbling all over the place. And so it was just became easier, put him on the bed, Bri will deal with him when she comes back. But I feel like if you've got roommates that you're already friends with and they kind of know the hobby, it's much easier. If you're moving in somewhere new and you're bringing your dolls with you, so I know some people are kind of freaked out by dolls. I think it's nice to tell them. I personally don't really have a habit of keeping my interests secret. Like, all my family knows I have dolls. My friends knew I was into anime from the get-go. The only times I'm kind of secretive about it is at work, because I don't really feel like it's anyone's business at that point. But after 3 years of working in the same job at school, my boss kind of tended to know what I was into, and that's just me. I know other people might not be as comfortable with being outspoken, and that's totally fine. It's up to you how much you want to share. I feel like with roommates, though, it kind of becomes, especially in if you're in an apartment and you have roommates. I mean, I've never experienced this. Is kind of my theories. Feel free below to tell me if I'm just full of it. I feel like in an apartment, it'd be easier to keep your hobbies secret because you theoretically have your own room in the apartment, if that's how it's set up. You can kind of keep your stuff in there. The way my dorm was set up, everything was kind of exposed. She had all her posters of video games and things and all her stuff, and then I had my side of the room where it was all my J-Rock nonsense and dolls and assorted stuff. And so we knew very much what each other was into from the get-go, and that made our friendship a lot easier because we could see it, and turned out we were all into the same thing, so we became rather good friends and are thinking of becoming roommates again once we both find real jobs. But yeah, I think with dolls and roommates, I got lucky that my roommate wasn't creeped out by them. She made some jokes of like, oh, they've moved, or no, you're not allowed to buy them glow-in-the-dark eyes. I will be throwing stuffed animals at you. That was her basic threat of throwing a stuffed Umbreon at me if I did creepy things with the dolls, like glow-in-the-dark eyes, or move them and not tell her. Just anything. Sometimes I felt mean on Halloween, so I just turned all of their heads. They were facing her bed, and she, of course, followed through on her threat of throwing the stuffed animal at me. But that was really as escalated as it got. I had a pretty positive experience with roommates. Now that I'm back home, I have my own room here, so the dolls tend to stay in there. My family knows they exist. They don't touch them if I'm not around. So I guess they're my roommates now. But yeah, I feel like I'm talking in circles at this point, so I'm going to stop. Well, that's my experience with face-ups, roommates. I'll be back next week for another video, and until next time, bye!